Good afternoon everybody and a warm welcome to Behringer. And today's theme is going to be the evacuation of Berringer, and it's exactly what it means. Basically a little while ago I sort of suggested and said that I was going to be making some major changes to Behringer, and the time has now come and I've just started to do a bit of prep work towards it. So I thought I would walk and talk you through what I'm planning on doing. So basically, as you can see, Behringer is now devoid of any vehicles at all. There's nothing here. I haven't actually removed any buildings yet, but they will be removed very shortly, and all the buildings will be removed, and then so I can actually get and access the underneath part of this, and I will get to that shortly. All the trains have also been evacuated, so there's absolutely nothing down here at all. And one of the reasons, and I guess I might as well turn around and say that we're going to start, the actual work is actually going to start from here, and it's going to start from there, all the way along there, all the way along there, and up to Blockbuster Video. Now, hopefully, and I'm not planning on doing anything drastic, but basically the town scene as it stands will stay exactly the same. The main work is going to be the track work and what goes underneath here. And when I originally built Behringer many moons ago, the original Behringer, it was only really supposed to finish and run up to here. That was the original plan. It was never meant to go past this point over there, where my buses and coaches have all been evacuated to B&Q. That's where they're all just residing, and there was never supposed to be a fiddle yard down there. It was originally supposed to start and finish from here and run all the way to the back wall where the village is, and that was it. And there'll be a clip of that towards the end, so you can have a rough idea. So consequently, with bearing that in mind, the town scene was going to stay here as it was, as I'd planned it, and the station was going to be as it is now, terminating here. But what's been bugging me is there's a number of issues that have been bugging me, which is the reason for these changes. The first is, since I have the fiddle yard down that end, when the trains come round they have to go through the lines around the back, and I'm not really making as much use and the most out of Behringer station itself, because it's an end station, and because it's a terminus station it's actually facing the wrong way round. If it was a terminus station but it was facing the other way round, I could still have trains coming in, but as it stands it doesn't go. I can't make the most out of the station, so that's one of the reasons. So what I'm hoping to do is blend all these tracks and feed them all in to underneath the town scene, feed them onto these two lines and then onto the fiddle yard, and basically have Behringer as a through station and Moorwood as the end point, as it's no longer going to be a complete circuit. It will end up terminating at the nuclear flask terminal. Basically that sort of tunnel, sort of head shunt, that's where it's going to finish. So Moorwood now becomes the turnaround point. But for long distance trains, it's not very far to travel from Moorwood to Behringer. So this is one of the reasons why I wanted to open up Behringer and make it into a through station. Second of all, there's a number of issues with the track work. This is laid many years ago now, and there's a few things that have cropped up. There's a slight height difference between this board here and this board here. It's only by about a few millimetres, but it's enough to raise the front end of the bogies on some locos that when they come round they'll derail, because they're not sitting on the track properly. So I've got to level it all out, and that's principally down on the corner at the underground station, not at this end because this is where it terminates. Also, on some of my running sessions, I hadn't noticed this before, but it has come up quite a while ago, and I just haven't got around to doing it. But something I will put right is I will intend to level out the tracks here, because I think if I sit you down, you can probably see it. And basically, there is actually a slope. And obviously some of the running sessions that you've probably seen, you'll notice that the locos sort of raise up and come up slightly. So there is a slight gradient. Now the plan is to basically level it off from here all the way down to the end, and when it levels out, it should actually level out to the same height as the board that's at the back there. That's kind of the plan, and that should basically level out the gradient there and make it run better. Also what I want to do is down this end, something I hadn't really noticed because I never really get the camera down here that often, but there was a running session that I did a little while ago that caught my eye, because the track on the right is actually pretty knackered actually, and I haven't had any trains running on it for a while, and in truth it is so wonky that I didn't realise it until a few weeks ago actually how wonky it was. And basically it's so wonky that it's like it's been laid on, you know, after a few drinks on a Friday night. It's just that bad. So what I've decided to do, and this is also, like I said, because of the gradient change, it's also both the lines that are affected. So I'm going to basically level that out and make that easier for all the locos to run round. So that's another big sort of project there. So there is a lot to be done. Also, there's also going to add a crossover point here, and basically remove this siding here, and basically open up these two lines here, because ultimately at the moment these two lines feed into the one point, which is that one there. So what I'm going to do is this line here is actually going to just feed straight across onto that point there. So basically there'll be no need for that additional point, and that will make it a smoother run. Also, by removing that and removing the siding here, it will give me a chance to possibly extend this platform out for another coach, so that will give it another foot, and depending on how this goes I might be able to do the same, but I haven't quite worked out the ins and outs of this side yet. But it all really depends on what's underneath the town scene. Is what's underneath here, because I'm not quite sure. I haven't taken it apart for some time, so I can't remember where all the supports are, and so how I can work around it and all the rest of it. So it's only really when I remove all the buildings here and sort of put them away, out the way, into storage for a while, for the next few weeks or so, that I'll be able to get a good close look of what's underneath to exactly see how the track plan is going to work. Because at the moment I'm just hoping, and it's just an idea, that I can feed all these tracks underneath the town scene and out, but the reality is I'm not entirely certain, and I'll have to sort of, only when I remove the top will I be able to sort of see what I can and can't do. So thanks for watching, and feel free to comment and subscribe as always. There will be another video shortly, and that's on the progress of the nuclear transfer terminal, which is coming along great guns. The gantry is virtually finished. It's in the final finishing and painting stages, so that's going to be done, and you'll be able to get to see that. The security fencing has also been painted up but hasn't been assembled yet, and that will be on the next video. So once again, thanks for watching. Please feel free to comment and subscribe. Bye for now.